Hey guys, welcome. Today I am fixing a pulley on the AC compressor. From what I can tell, this is actually a pretty common problem, and if you don't pull it apart and fix it yourself, you end up having to spend a lot of money replacing the entire clutch or AC compressor, and that's just ridiculous. So instead, we're going to pull it apart and just swap out that bearing. There are two ways that you know the bearing needs to be replaced. The first is if when the air conditioner is off, you start hearing kind of weird noises right back there by the belt that go away when the air conditioner is on. The reason this happens is that the bearing in the AC compressor is only used when the air conditioner is off. When the air conditioner is on, the clutch engages and the whole thing is turned and powered. It will have to get pretty bad before you hear it with the air conditioner off. But if you're in there and you have the belt off of your engine, you can actually spin and test the pulley. So with my belt off, I was checking all of the pulleys. I had one idle pulley that had some play in it, which is 100% fixed now. Very pleased with that. Was just able to take it off and replace the bearing. So if you want to see that video, you should check that out. I'll post a link somewhere. But I also noticed that the pulley on the AC has quite a bit of play and it's pretty noisy. So I'm gonna see if I can pull this off as well and replace the bearing. There's only one 10mm bolt that you have to get off to pull the clutch assembly out, but it's kind of tricky to do. I imagine it'd be easier with the belt on, but I didn't want to put the belt back on just to take it off. So the first thing I tried was using a big breaker bar and a hammer to kind of knock it loose. That technique apparently works for some people and would probably work better if the belt were on to hold the pulley in place. For me though, just trying to hold the pulley and knock it with a hammer didn't work at all. So after that, I tried what did work, which is to put a large pipe wrench on the outside of the clutch. I didn't put this on the pulley part itself because I didn't want to damage where the belt goes. Any kind of nicks or dings there could end up tearing the belt. That was a pain. There we go. All right, so there's a clip on here. There we go. So all of that is not the issue. It's this. Let's go take a look at it. So here's the pulley for the AC compressor, and it's time to remove the old, really worn bearing. Now I've noticed on the bearing there are little tabs where the inside metal's kind of been bent over the bearing to hold it into place. I'm gonna take a pen and a hammer and just try and drive those back a little bit, bend them back. Ideally, this will make it easier for me to remove the bearing. So to remove the bearing, I have to press from this side, and unfortunately, I can't press on the outer race from this side, so hopefully this works. I've found a 36mm socket that fits in that opening really well. So I'll just put my gear puller on there. There we go. Now again, A 12-ton gear puller is probably overkill. I'm sure you could do this with one of those pullers that they rent at auto parts places. I love this 12-ton gear puller though, because it works for absolutely everything. It's a little bit awkward sometimes, but it never has any trouble pulling anything out. We're good to go. We'll just pop the new one in now. Once again, I'm using some material science to make the bearing install easier. I'm heating the AC pulley up with a heat gun, and I've had my new bearing in the freezer for many hours now. It'll be colder and thus a little bit smaller, and this will be hotter and thus a little bit larger, and that should make installing the bearing just a little bit easier. New bearing is in, and what I did to press it in, when you press it in, you always have to press on the outer race of the bearing. You can rent one of those bearing installers from auto parts places. You got to be careful to make sure you're getting it in straight. So at times I used my clamp to kind of straighten it out if I saw it was going in slightly askew. And yeah, then just pressed it in. So yeah, it's in. I'm gonna go ahead and try and drive those tabs back over a little bit. I don't think it's critical. I don't imagine that there are any kind of forces inside the AC compressor that would actually pull this bearing out. But go ahead and try and punch the tabs over just a little bit anyway. Okay. Hey, so much better. Putting it all back together is pretty simple and straightforward, but there is a snap ring and a little washer, so make sure that you put everything back together the way it came apart and you don't forget anything. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Keep driving, keep wrenching. I will see you guys again soon.